Hey everyone, I'm back with another video. I hope everyone is doing well. But anyway, I wanted to make a video today of about addictions. You know, addictions like the major addictions like drug addiction, gambling addiction, sexual addiction, even that. Any type of addictions and how devastating they could be to a person's life, you know. They all share some commonalities. All types of addictions. They share, you know, commonalities. Food addiction is another one too. I didn't add that. But they all share commonalities. They're different, but they're the same because they're addiction. Addiction is an addiction. But I've been directly affected by at least two of them in an indirect way and a direct way. That I'm gonna speak on. Drug addiction. I got a relative of mine who I love dearly, who suffered from and probably is still suffering from a drug addiction, and it hurt me badly because I love him. He's my cousin, but I love him like my brother, and it's sad. It was sad to watch. He was one of my favorite people that I loved hanging with and being around. But when he got, addicted to drugs, unfortunately, it just, everything changed. And, he was straight in denial about it. When it first initially found out, he was straight in denial about it. He, it eventually came to the forefront, and he kept on fiending and asking for money from me and others so he can satisfy his addiction. It's his fiending. He feed him his drugs. What he was addicted to, his addiction. So eventually, to make a long story short, I had to, of course, cut off. I kind of cut off contact with him. I tried to, I guess in my mind, tried to help them, get over it. But if they don't want to, if a person doesn't want to change that's on drugs, they're not gonna change. They have to want to. Cause the specific incident I'm talking about, my cousin was in and out of rehab centers a number of times, but he never seemed like he wanted to change at all. Never. All my conversations with him that I had with him about his addiction and did he want to change, he never said to me, even though he was in and out of these rehabs a couple of times or numerous times, he never said to me when I spoke to him that he wanted to get off the drugs. He never said that. I mentioned that to him. When I told him that, I'm gonna back away from him, let him do his thing. But I kind of told him, I said, you've never said to me once that you wanted to get off drugs. And see, that's important to me because I look at it, I say, man, if you can't say that to yourself, not that it's that easy that you say, I want to get off, and then you just get off drugs. That ain't what I'm saying. But just the fact of him not being able, he never said it to me. Never said that to me. In many conversations with him, he never said, I want to get off drugs. Never said that. So that's big for me. That was huge for me. But he was feeling real bad. He would call me like 10 to 20 times a day, trying to get money. He would just call me. He was he was fiending, addiction, and But I tell you, all throughout, I never loved him any less. Because we're all human. He's human. We're all human at the end of the day. And we can all be addicted, find ourselves addicted to something that's detrimental to our lives. But I still love him. I still love him today. I don't particularly know where he's at this present moment, but I still love him. I lost no love for him. But I can't have that. He has to. That's something that he would have to figure out for himself. He would have to figure that out for himself. And I pray about him and for him each and every day. But I just want to speak on another one, gambling addiction. And this is another one that I'm familiar with. And this is more personal to me because it's more on with me. And I had a little gambling addiction. I didn't go overboard, but I went to a very close cliff, I'll tell you that. And mine was just gambling, and the addiction just took over. And it was like a gambler's slogan is, that's all I need is one big win and I'm back. That's all it takes is one. That's a gambler's like chant or anthem or motto. Just one big win and I'm back up. Just that one. You know, that's something that's in a gambler's mind. That goes to a gambler's mind. I just need that one big one. And that feeds us to keep going and keep going. But yeah, my gambling, I was gambling out of control, and it almost destroyed me, really. It really almost destroyed me. And it didn't though, but it was many nights that many nights I just wanted to cry, you know, because it was, you know, I would work hard for my money, and then it was just like I would just give it to them, just passing it to another person, and it was just breaking my heart, and it was just like this, and I had to beg and borrow and all types of stuff just to feed my high of gambling. You know, and it was bad. It was bad because it was like, this is stressful and frustrating and everything. I wouldn't lie. It was just big time devastating to my life. And I seen the stress that I was putting on my friends and family, you know, begging and borrowing and all that. It just wasn't, I didn't feel right about it, but it was like, how can I put it? It was like it was like something that I felt like I had to do. You know, I don't know if you don't gamble or you don't have any addiction or you don't understand your addiction or you're not realizing your addiction, you can never understand. You can never understand. Like, some people that I've talked about the gambling with, they just seem like, well, just stop. Like, you just stop tomorrow. Or you can just stop doing it. It's not like that. It's not, that ain't the way it's transferring in my brain. That's something that I'm addicted to. It's like, it becomes a part of my fabric of who I am in some ways. And if you're not a gambler or you're not addicted to gambling, you can never understand that. So I don't really go back and forth in deep conversations with people that don't understand or never been a gambler or don't understand the addiction. It's a lost cause to have conversations really with them. Because, they can never understand. They can never see that formation, And by the way, my addiction of gambling was to the horses. The horses. I somehow just loved the horses, racetrack or the horse racetrack. Not lottery or the river casino boats. I never been into those like heavy like that. I never been into those period really like that. I might play the lottery from time to time, or I might have I've been to the riverboat, of course, but I wasn't addicted to either one of those. Those wasn't big for me, but it was the horses. Horses was big for me. It made me lose out on a lot of things over the years here. I mean, it was made me lose out on a lot of things. I lost a lot of money gambling on the horses. And I did win from time to time. I guess most gamblers win from time to time, but they spend that most of the time. They spend that plus. I done won something and I done lost triple what I won on the same day. That's how bad it was. I've won, but I've lost some more. But it is crippling. It is crippling to your mind and your soul, and it's like, and I can only speak for me. I knew what I was doing was bad for me, but it was like it was a lust to do it, because I felt like I always had this ticking in my mind. I can make it better. And then you get into this thing when you gamble, you get into this thing of chasing your money. Like if I lost 200 today, I'm chasing that 200 to try to make it back. And while I'm trying to chase back that 200, which is a mistake of gamblers make, I done lost 500. Trying to chase back the 200 I lost yesterday. So now I done lost 500 trying to chase the 200. And now in total I've lost 700. So, and the cycle just keeps continuing, and it continues, and you always think like I can get that one win and I could be back good. That one big win, I could be back, I can get it all back in that one whop, and you still chasing that money. That keeps the cycle going a lot of times. Chase that money, and you know, that's a big component of the addiction as far as gambling addiction. You're chasing the money you lost. You're chasing them. That's part of the programming. You chasing the money. Now, I wouldn't advertise anyone to gamble at all, really, but I still gamble from time to time, but I just don't. The addiction is the bad part. See, some of the things that the addiction itself is the problem. I had to learn that it ain't gambling necessarily. It's getting addicted to the gambling. That's the problem, because you just like gamble, let's see, once every 2 weeks you might take a gamble, whatever, take a modest gamble. Boom, you might win, you might lose. If you lose, you just take your losses and go, hey, I ain't gonna play for a while, I took a shot, move on. But see, that ain't what I was doing. That ain't what most gamblers out here doing. Most gamblers are going, even if they win, they're coming back the next day because they start thinking about past losses sometimes. They get, they come every day and they're gonna eventually, a real gambler is eventually gonna spend all that money that they won back. They're gonna spend it back. They're gonna lose that back and more. Because a real gambler, that's their mind. They can hit 50,000 and they probably go through that 50,000 in the next week or the next day or whatever, because they want more. Just the gambling, it's the winning. You want to win. The winning, you want to win, and the greed comes in. You want to win as much as you can, and it gets you want to win. It's like a competitive thing. It's like you just want to win. It's something. It's really something. It starts off as something, then it escalates to something else almost. It's a psychosis thing going. It's a mental thing, and it's really deep, gambler's mind. So I like I said, I'm not saying I'm an expert on the gambling, being addicted to gambling, but I know a little bit about it, and I know there's some people out there that know something about it too, or know something about another addiction. But like I said, the ones that I mentioned, or the addictions that I'm familiar with. Like I mentioned, it's drug addiction because a relative of mine, a close relative of mine, and the gambling addiction because of my own battle with my gambling addiction to the horses. They're the only ones I can really speak on directly. Other addictions, I'm pretty sure they have commonalities to those addictions, because all addictions, I think, have a commonality to them. So, but I just, but like I said, I'm glad that I'm still in the process of overcoming my addiction personally to gambling. Like I haven't, been as excessive as I have been in the past, but it's still a work in progress. I made great strides, but I'm still getting there, trying to get over the whole addiction thing and the addictive mindset that that gamblers have. But it's hard to say if I regret being addicted to gambling, because I met some great people in gambling or horse gambling circles. I've met some good people and some great people. I've met some awesome people, and because the whole horse gambling type of community almost. It's really something. It's like a whole community within itself. But but it's people that's really, gambling is really breaking people down. Drug addiction is really breaking people down. any other addiction that I mentioned, food addiction, sexual addiction, all that, I'm pretty sure any type of addiction is breaking people down in a bad way, and it's putting people in a bad position, in a bad predicament. And you know, that's all I could do. Like I'm in remission of my addiction of gambling. I mean, I just hope everyone gets to that point where they want to change and take steps to change that addiction or reverse that cycle there for themselves. I pray for everybody that has any type of addiction, because it's not an easy thing to kick. No matter what type of addiction it is, it's not an easy thing to kick. So I pray for anybody that's suffering any type of addiction. And I pray that we all, reverse that cycle so our lives can be better, so we can be better for ourselves, so we can be better for our families, so we can be better for just live more better, fulfilling, how can I put it, more wider and broader lives. Because it becomes really, really narrow and shallow when you are almost encaged by your addiction. You are like you're almost like enslaved to your addiction. You are enslaved to your addiction, whatever addiction it may be. You are imprisoned, encaged by it, and it's not a fun life in totality. It's really frustrating. It's really. It really creates a lot of stress and a lot of turmoil in your life. Whether you outwardly show it or you don't. Whether you outwardly show it or you don't. But it does create a lot of stuff there. And it's just, like I said, no addiction is easy to kick. And because, I got friends and family that tell you, well, you need to stop doing this. But it's not that simple. Like I mentioned my cousin earlier in the drug addiction. I know it wasn't that simple. When he was on there, I know it wasn't that simple, but I felt that I had to show him hard love. Because he has to want to quit for himself. Like my gambling addiction, I want to quit that addiction because I know how it was hurting me. I know how I can see how it's hurt my relationships. It's kind of put a strain on my family. It's put a strain on my personal relationships. It did a lot. It did a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. So I wanted to change for me. Like, it wasn't easy to get to the step that I'm on in my remission, but I was persistent to get there. I want to get there. I want to change. I don't want that. I don't want my hard-earned money going to someone else, like I'm working for them. I didn't want to do that. And that's all I was asking from my cousin that I spoke on earlier. I wanted him. He never said to me, in our conversations that we supposed to have, he never said to me that he wanted to stop doing drugs. He never said to me that he wants to get clean or he wants to get right. He's never said that to me. Now, I know it's a big difference, like I spoke of, it's a big difference saying it and doing it, but with anything, you got to speak it first. You speak it first and then bring it to fruition. You got to speak it first and then bring it to fruition. He never said to me, to this day that I stand on make this video, he never said to me, I want to kick this habit or this addiction that I have. Never. So I had to show him hard love and distance myself from him and let him figure it out himself. He's a grown man, so I got to let him figure it out himself. But like I said, I love him. I still pray for him. I hope he's good, and I hope he gets better and he finds find a way, or find some type of branch or something to grab on of hope or some type of thing that can bring him back to a level of getting to a point of recovery. But like I said, I just wanted to make this video. Like I said, I just want to add this. Most of the time, the things that people are addicted to, if they wasn't addicted, because there's people that I know and I've knew through life that use drugs from time to time, but they're not addicted. they're not addicted. They're not addicted. They're functional. They're able to go to work. They're able to do pay their bills. They're able to do a lot of things. Be responsible and pay their bills. But they use drugs. We might not approve of it, or nobody may not approve of it, because that ain't something that you do or I do. But they do. There's some out there. I came across in my lifetime. I came across several that do that. See, so whether we agree with them doing the drugs or not, that's one thing. But they're not addicted. They're still functional. They're able to function even though they're doing drugs. They function. They functional beings. It's not affecting their lives. It's not on the cliffs of devastating their lives. That's just something they do. I mean, to each his own. Because, like a food addiction. We all eat food. We may not eat the same food, but we all eat food. See, eating food is not the problem. It's the addiction. You get addicted to food. If you get addicted to food, if you can't do nothing else but food and eat food, then it becomes a problem. It's the addiction. It's the sex. Everyone has sex. Or have had sex. Most people, anyway. It ain't the having sex that may cause a problem with you and this and that. Having sex with somebody, if the sex is the only thing that's on your mind, you can't you can't live without sex, then it becomes a problem. That's a sex addiction, so it becomes a problem. My situation, gambling. People gamble and play the lottery and still function and pay their bills and this and that. They don't go out. But when lottery and riverboat and gambling on horses and all that becomes your life, like your life's raft, I'm gonna go gamble, or I'm gonna die, or something like that. You have that type of mentality, then it's a problem. That's it. That's all I'm saying. It's not you doing certain things. It's the overdosing on those things. That's when it becomes a problem. You overdosing and you're how can I put it? You're almost you're addicted. You're obsessing over those things, lusting for them things. You're lusting for the thrill of those things, just lusting for them every day. Like it becomes like in your soul and in your spirit and this and that. And this is the way, and this is how I feel important. It just becomes a part of your fabric of your life. Then it becomes a problem. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to totally knock anything, but like I said, anything can be that you're addicted to. When you're addicted to it, you overdo it, can be makes a problem, creates a problem. That's all I'm saying. But it's like medicine. Like doctors prescribe us certain medicines to cure certain things or to make us feel better. Now, we never look at those things most of the time as bad. But when you overdose or use too much or get addicted to them and use them every day or excessively, that's when the problem kicks in. But if you use them like on a occasional basis or when recommended or at a modest amount, it's not a problem. Most times don't create a problem. It's just when it gets excessive when you use it. Now it's excessive. Now, so now it's a problem. That's the same thing with other addictions. It's not the actual use or doing the things. It's not the doing the drugs necessarily. It's not the eating the food. It's not having the sex. It's not the gambling necessarily, but it's the overindulging in those activities that become the problem. Because like I said, that puts everything in your life. That begins to affect your life in general then. It affects the finances of your life, your relationships. It affects a lot of things in your life, and sometimes you don't realize that, or you're not cognizant of that. Or you just don't care about those things. So, I'm just trying to say that, another one I want to add, alcohol, like they say alcoholism, alcohol addicted, alcoholism. A lot of people that I know that party or go to parties or have parties at their house, they have alcohol most times at the house. Now, a good amount of us consume alcohol on a modest level. Me, myself, I consume alcohol on a modest level. But I'm not addicted or alcoholic, but alcoholics that you know, or people that overindulge in alcohol, if you know any of those people, and I've knew some of those people too, but those type of people have the same issues as any other addicted person to anything. They usually their money usually their finance kind of shady. Their relationships are kind of rocky because of their alcoholism. Most times, their personal relationships are kind of, it puts a strain on their personal relationships, and it does those things, and it's a thing where they just need to drink, and the drive is to drink, like escapism, drink, escapism. Like that's an interesting point. I said escapism because as the drink is escapism, when you're sexually addicted, that's an escapism. And when you're drugs, that's definitely escapism. And gambling, to me, was a kind of escapism as well. So that's another thing that they all share in common to me. That's like an escapism. That's your escapism, or supposedly, or superficial escapism. It's almost a pretentious escapism, almost. That's what it is. It's almost in the person who's addicted mind, it's like an escapism. It's a freeing thing or something. It's a freeing thing in our minds. It's not, in reality, it's not freeing. It's actually hindering. But in our minds, because we're addicted, it's freeing. It's freedom, or it's freeing us. But I just wanted to, I could go a lot deeper into these things, but I just wanted to bring that up and make a video about it. Like I said earlier, my heart goes out to anybody that has an addiction or suffering from addiction. I wish you the best, and I pray for you. Even if I don't know your name or your faces, I pray for you out there, whoever's addicted to anything or suffering from addiction. I pray that you find a source of strength to be able to overcome, and you have a willingness. You want to change. You want to, because ultimately, you can't change for anybody else. You got to change for yourself. You got to want it. And you got to execute the plan. And it's not going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. But you got to be able to take the steps. And you got to be strength. And you got to pray. And you got to make it happen. But you got to want to do it for you. You got to want to change for you. You can't really have a substantial change for anyone else. You got to want that change for you. You got to find in yourself to want that change. And I pray that everyone who's addicted find that within themselves, that they want to change, because they want to be a better person, so they can build better relationships and be in a better, more stable financial situation, and in a better situation overall. But like I said, so I'm not throwing shade at anyone. I'm not talking bad. I'm not intending or purposely trying to throw shade on anyone. I'm just speaking on this, and I wish everybody the best. And if anybody out there that see this video, you have a certain addiction, leave it in the comments below and let me know about it, and just open up the discussion and how you feel and what things you think drive your addiction, or what things have driven your addiction, or made you want to indulge in whatever it is that you're addicted to. If you want to share that with us, you can share it in the comments. But I'm gonna leave the video right here. If you like this video, hit the like button at the bottom. You can share this video. You can, like I said, you can comment, and please, if you like the content, because I'm gonna have this type of content and more upcoming. If you like this type of content, subscribe to my channel. And once you subscribe, you can also hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I put a video up. But I'll also leave that information in the description as well, as well as contact. If you wanted to contact me directly, I'm gonna leave my contact info in the description of this video as well below. So that's all I wanted to say, and hey, we're gonna make it happen. Better life, better world, make a better us, So that's all I want to say on this video. Peace and love. out.